Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I am Pooja Dwivedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of the last segment. Which of the following is or are the objectives of disinvestment in India? Reducing the fiscal burden on the exchequer, encouraging private ownership, maintaining and promoting competition in the market. We have to select the correct answer. First is correct, that if a loss-making venture is providing a burden, it's proving to be a burden on the exchequer, of course, disinvesting it and helping it with the help of and contribution from the private sector will help reducing the fiscal burden. And hence the second statement is also correct, private ownership. And when private entities come into the picture, it will of course give an increase to private competition, market competition. So all of them are correct. The correct answer, option D. Disinvestment means sale or liquidation of assets by the government, usually central and state public sector enterprises, projects or other fixed assets. Main objectives of disinvestment in India are reducing the fiscal burden on the exchequer, improving public finance and encouraging private ownership. Moving on, funding growth and development are also its objective, and maintaining and promoting competition in the market is also there. Consider the following statements. Prevention of child marriage is a part of Sustainable Development Goal number 3, which deals with gender equality and empowerment of women and girls. The Child Marriage Restraint Act of 1929 restricts the practice of child marriage in India. We have to select the correct statement. The first statement is incorrect because prevention of child marriage is a part of Sustainable Development Goal number 5 and not 3. So the first becomes incorrect. The second is definitely correct. The correct answer is option B. The report by Save the Children said South Asia sees 2,000 child marriage related deaths every year, followed by East Asia and the Pacific with 650 deaths, and Latin America and the Caribbean with 560 annual deaths. Prevention of child marriage is a part of Sustainable Development Goal number 5, which deals with gender equality and empowerment of all women and girls. The Child Marriage Restraint Act of 1929 restricts the practice of child marriage in India. Let's move forward. Consider the following statements. Red sanders or Pterocarpus santalinus is endemic to northeastern India. Endemic means it is found nowhere else. IUCN has put red sanders under the category of endangered species in the red list. So we have to select the incorrect statement. First is incorrect because it is endemic to South India and not northeastern India, red sanders. And the second is also incorrect because it is in the category of not endangered but near threatened. None of them are correct. So the correct answer is option C, both 1 and 2. As a part of the ongoing Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav initiative, the Union Minister of Rural Development and Panchayati Raj recently inaugurated a training program on sandalwood farming and management of its health. Red sanders or Pterocarpus santalinus is endemic to South India, and IUCN has put it under the category of near threatened from earlier endangered species in the red list. Moving forward to the next question. Consider the following statements regarding the Lukha River. It is located in the southern part of East Jaintia Hills of Meghalaya. The river receives water from the lunar river, which is Vah Lunar. So we have to select the correct statement. Both these statements are correct. Answer is option C. Recently, the Meghalaya government has claimed that a detoxing pilot project has brought the Lukha River back from the dead. The Lukha is located in the southern part of the East Jaintia Hills in Meghalaya, where most of Meghalaya's rat hole coal mines are located. It receives water from the lunar river Vah Lunar and small streams draining from the Narpo Reserve Forest and the undulating hills of the area while flowing down. Consider the following statements regarding Quarterly Employment Survey. It is released by the Labour Bureau, Ministry of Labour and Employment. It covers establishments employing 10 or more workers in the organized sectors. The survey is conducted only for manufacturing and construction sectors. So we have to select the correct statement. The first statement is correct, that it is released by the Labour Bureau, Ministry of Labour and Employment, for considering the establishments which employ 10 or more labourers in the organization. And the survey is not conducted only for manufacturing and construction, but every other important sectors. So third is incorrect, first and second are correct. The correct answer is option 1 and 2, that is option A, right? The Labour Bureau, Ministry of Labour and Employment released the quarterly employment survey for the first quarter of 2021. It covers establishments employing 10 or more workers in the organized segment in 9 sectors, namely manufacturing, construction, trade, transport, education, health, accommodation and restaurant, IT, BPO, financial service activities. Moving forward, consider the following statements regarding Multidimensional Poverty Index. It is jointly released by World Bank and ILO. It uses education, health, and standard of living as its indicators. A person is said to be multidimensionally poor if he/she is deprived of 1/3 or more of the weighted indicators. We have to select the correct statement. First statement is incorrect because it is not released by the World Bank and ILO, but a part of Oxford and UNDP. We will discuss about that. So first becomes incorrect. Second is correct. It has 3 indicators, namely education. First is education, second is health, and third is standard of living. Do remember. And a person is known as multidimensionally poor if he or she is deprived of 1/3 or more. Remember, 1/3 or more of the weighted indicators. Second and third, correct. Answer is option D. Recently, Global Multidimensional Poverty Index of 2021 was released by the United Nations Development Programme and the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative. And we have discussed these statements. So, a person is multidimensionally poor if he or she is deprived of 1/3 or more of the weighted indicators. Those who are deprived in 1/2 or more of the weighted indicators are considered living in extreme multidimensional poverty. Let's move on to the next question. Consider the following statements with respect to the G20 Extraordinary Leaders Summit. The agenda of the meeting included a discussion on response in humanitarian needs and access to basic services and livelihoods. It is hosted by the USA. We have to select the correct statement. Second is incorrect because it is hosted by the current chair of G20, that is Italy, and not USA. The first is definitely correct. The correct answer should be option A, that is 1 only. Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in the G20 Extraordinary Leaders Summit on Afghanistan in virtual format. The summit was convened by Italy, the current chair of the G20 that comprises 20 of world's major economies. The agenda of the meeting included a discussion on the response to humanitarian needs and access to basic services and livelihood. Moving forward, security and the fight against terrorism, mobility, migration and human rights were also discussed. Next question says to consider the following statements with respect to the National Human Rights Commission. The chairperson and the members of the NHRC are appointed by the President of India. They hold office for a term of 3 years or until they attain the age of 70 years, whichever is earlier. We have to select the incorrect statement. First statement is correct. The chairperson and the members of the NHRC are appointed by the President of India on the suggestions of a committee. We will discuss about that as well. Earlier, the tenure of the chairperson and the members was either 70 years or 5 years of the tenure. But now, because of the bill of 2019, it has been of 3 years or 70 years, either or whichever is earlier. Both are correct. None of them are incorrect. The correct answer is option D. Prime Minister addressed the 28th National Human Rights Commission Foundation Day program today via video conferencing. NHRC was established in 1993. The chairperson and the members of the NHRC are appointed by the President of India. The appointment is done on the recommendation of a committee consisting of the Prime Minister as the chairperson of the committee, the Home Minister, Leader of the Opposition in the Lok Sabha and the Leader of the Opposition in the Rajya Sabha, the Speaker of the Lok Sabha, the Deputy Chairman of the Rajya Sabha. They hold office for a term of 3 years or until they attain the age of 70 years, whichever is earlier. Moving on, SAGE, recently seen in the news, refers to which of the following? It is an app for cultural integration, a portal to help connect the transgender society with different NGOs, an advisory group on immunization, or an initiative of the Ministry of Education. The correct answer is option C. It is an advisory group on immunization. The World Health Organization has recommended that people with weaker immune system should be offered an additional dose of all authorized COVID-19 vaccines. The UN Health Agency's Strategic Advisory Group of Experts on Immunization, that is SAGE, said that the additional dose should be offered as part of the extended primary series, since these individuals are less likely to respond adequately to vaccination following a standard primary vaccine series and are at high risk of severe COVID-19 disease. Moving on, consider the following statements with respect to the S-400 missile system. It is a mobile air-to-air missile system designed by Russia. It is just a little behind the US-developed Terminal High Altitude Area Defense System, THAAD. We have to select the correct statement. Okay, so S-400 Triumph missile system is a surface-to-air, that is SAM, S-A-M, and not A-A-M, air-to-air missile. It is surface-to-air missile developed by Russia, and it is much ahead of THAAD. So both are incorrect. The correct answer is option D. India is expected to receive the first batch of the S-400 air defense systems from Russia by the end of 2021. Russia will deliver the air defense missile system to India under a $5.4 billion deal. S-400 was developed in the 1990s by Russia as an upgrade to the S-300 series of surface-to-air missile, surface-to-surface air missile. Okay, and S-400 Triumph missile system is a mobile surface-to-air missile system designed by Russia. It is the most dangerous operationally deployed modern long-range SAM in the world, considered much ahead of the THAAD. The system can engage all types of aerial targets, including aircraft, unmanned aerial vehicles, and ballistic and cruise missiles within the range of 400 km at an altitude of up to 30 km. The system can track 100 airborne targets and engage 6 of them simultaneously. Moving on, consider the following countries: Turkey, Turkmenistan, Uzbekistan, Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia. We have to select the countries which have a border with Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan has a border with Turkmenistan and not Turkey. It has a border with Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan and not Mongolia. So the correct answer should be 2, 3, 4. That is option A. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar arrived in Nur Sultan in Kazakhstan on the second leg of the visit to Central Asia. Dr. Jaishankar attended the 6th ministerial meeting of the Conference of Interaction and Confidence Building Measures in Asia in Nur Sultan today. And let's talk about Kazakhstan. Kazakhstan is a country in Central Asia. It has a border with Russia, China, Kyrgyzstan, Uzbekistan and Turkmenistan in the south. And the capital is Nur Sultan, formerly known as Astana. As you can see, Kazakhstan has a border with Russia, Uzbekistan here, Turkmenistan and also Kyrgyzstan. Here is Mongolia, but it doesn't have a border with Kazakhstan. Okay, so Uzbekistan is here and also Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Turkmenistan, and there is China. Remember this, okay? And this is Nur Sultan, formerly known as Astana, capital. Let's move on to the practice question. Consider the following statements. The right to a healthy environment was raised as a concern for the first time during the Second World War. The right to a clean environment is rooted in the Stockholm Declaration 1972, and the Indian Constitution is the first in the world to confer constitutional status to the environment protection. We have to select the correct statement. So I hope you will be answering it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.